More than welcome. I guess that's how he signed these checks these days. But at any rate, I told him that you guys are more than welcome to come to our facility. We'd love to have you. We just love cars. It's just amazing where we're at.
Scott, you got 5 minutes.
Scott Jones from County Cars.
You're going to sing.
5 minutes.
You're not going to hear me sing.
So you got.
I need a microphone, or can you hear me?
You can probably hear him. He can go next door and he can hear you. So you know what I'm saying. So Scott Jones from County Cars and from Cockers Extreme Automotive, and he's here with us today. My son's back here with us today too, and we're just honored and privileged to be here with you folks. So have at it.
I don't understand where the other names come from, but it's just Scott. How you guys doing today? Hey, you guys got awesome cars outside, and I'd love to take a look at most of the stuff. You know, most people don't realize we steal ideas. Some of the best car builders in the world are not professionals. They actually build in their shop, at their house. We've known some people that spend 7 years on a part. Most people don't realize that some of the coolest hot rod features nowadays, the people that actually covered up the radiator area and the front piece of the front clip, actually came from a man at home. He bent the metal himself. The rest of us stole it from him. So when we go around looking at your cars, we'll be stealing from you. You just don't know it. But we're glad to be here. You know, Mr. Bewley's amazing. We love him to death. One of these days he's going to let us drive some of his toys. He's being a little stingy. But, you know, my biggest thing is come by, say hello. You know, we're people, you know, come enjoy yourselves with us. And we definitely want to look at your toys. So, and then just remember this, I'm bigger than you. If you're hugging me, I'm hugging you back. And just stop by and say hi. You know, most people sometimes think that people on TV, I go to work every day like everybody else. I got bills like everybody else, so I'm a normal person. So if you have a question or something, please feel free.
Bigger than most.
Yes, I am. I'm really not the type of person you want to kick in the leg. But you know, if you got a question, just say something. It's not that big of a deal, and hopefully you can answer it the right way. And maybe I'll keep the swear words as somewhat of a minimum. My wife's been working back. He's working on me right now. You live in the city too long, you swear a little too much.
We've been working on that since you got back.
But if you got something, just come up and holler. We're going to be here for a little bit and stuff, and I got some honeydews like everybody else.
Anybody got any questions or any thoughts or ideas you want to throw at us while we're...
Oh, you don't have to raise your hand. You're older than I am.
Yes, sir. Throw it at us.
I love County Cars.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's one of the best shows I've ever watched.
You know, it's a lot of fun. You know, one of the things I know even Danny and the guys always wish, we always wish we could show you a little more process. You know, you guys are car people, so us car people always want to see process. We all want to learn new tricks for ourselves at home and save us $1, because this isn't the cheapest sport to play in. But if you can save a 5 here and a 10 here, you can get a little bit more horsepower, you get a little extra money. So I think all of us from the car side, we'd love to show you guys a little more process. Most people don't realize we built 110 cars in 1 year. That is 3 shifts a day, 11 straight months without a day off, 47 people going 100 miles an hour. It was that hard. The show just says, wow, here's the cars done. But you guys have refab metal. It's not like that. It really is no joke. We started 11 months prior, and literally we burned a deadline since the day it starts. We burn all the way to the last day. We usually run about 3 weeks late on filming. It is that crazy. Because he'll find stuff. Most people realize he's actually out driving around. He'll find something, even though we have the lineup set, he'll find something. And then the lineup changes, because he really does drive around looking for cars. So, and trust me, the rest of us really want to choke the heck out of him for it, because, you know, and then the one terrible thing that you guys hate done to you, and we also hate done at the shop, is change your mind. Nothing worse than we got a car going this direction, and you say, change my mind. Well, I got 6 weeks into that car to be done in 3 weeks. You change your mind, and we're right back to 6 weeks. So it's some fun stuff. You know, the TV stuff's really, most people ask if it's real or not. It's about 85% real, because you do have to shoot a different camera angle. And that's where the kind of the TV stuff comes in, because if you only had one point of view, you wouldn't enjoy it very much. And I learned that because I'm a big TV guy, and I didn't realize that's what they do too. The original start of it is always real, but then they have to kind of back up and do it from a different angle. So most people ask me that, is it real? It is. They just have to do it twice, so they can give you a different point of view, so you guys can actually enjoy what you're watching on TV and stuff. And that part is really fun. The other things most people ask is, how much does it really cost? When we talk on the show, it is what it costs us without overhead. So to ask me how I can do a car for $18,000, that's just labor and materials. There's no insurance in there, there's none of that stuff, because that's where the profit comes in. We're trying to get the overhead back. Like anything else that you're building, you're trying to sell, you sell for your profit. And then every now and then you take a punch in the nose and you break even. If you went 10 for 10, you know, you take a punch. And that's kind of some of the things that people ask is, you can't do that for 20 grand. Well, I can, because I can do a $20,000 paint job in 6 days. I can throw 3 shifts of guys, 8 guys per shift, to block 1 car. So I can give you a 4 to 6 block that you've never even dreamed of in 7 days. The only thing that holds me up is the drying time of the primer and the paint. That's it. That is the only thing that holds us up. I can put brand new floors in a car in 2 days. That's quarters, floors, front clip, because we have 4 fabricators. Once again, we have 3 shifts. So you imagine we can give you 400 man hours in 1 week. And it's crazy. Now you imagine at $135 an hour, hello. And that's just a paint job. You know, so that's some of the things that people always wonder is how's that work? There's something called a 5D camera. It's probably one of the most amazing cameras I've ever seen in my life. We did a $15,000 paint job on Rick Harrison's Steve McQueen car. The car looked beautiful. It was a beautiful 3-block. And the camera came on and it showed ripples. I could not find a ripple in my eye. Nobody could. Wow. But the camera was so good, we had found out that we could never 3-block a car again. I don't care if it was a $10,000 paint job. For TV, we had to 4-block everything because you had to beat the camera. So those are some of the weird things, you know, people are like, the paint jobs are unreal. We don't have a choice because the camera will murder you. It really will. We could actually step back and over probably 2 football fields away off the roof, we can see the power lines on the top of the roof of the car when the sun's shining. And that camera, you can see the birds sitting on it. That's how good those cameras are. So it's a little crazy, you know what I mean? It's some fun stuff. But that's how come the paint jobs come out so nice. We're not sometimes beating the customer. We have to make a little TV and we have to beat the camera. And those cameras are brutal. You know, and then the other thing people always ask is, how do you do it in the daytime? Problem is you actually can't. A lot of the work is all done at night and on swing shift because you can't use air tools while you're actually filming. The noise you just can't get any audio. So many of those guys are there for 8 hours and then they really start their real work as soon as the camera's on. So it's a little crazy, and trust me, there's a lot of swearing going along for that too. There's nothing worse than you guys know that if you stand around for 8 hours and then somebody says you better get going and you better go fast. Most people hate you for that stuff. So. But that's pretty much, you know, a lot about what goes on and stuff. And they're just great guys. I mean, everybody's a lot of fun, and you got a whole bunch of people going this direction. And don't get me wrong, Rolly and some of the guys got a little bit on TV, but you know, some people do that, so it's a little crazy. But if you have some questions for me, I'm good, but that's all you get from me. That's a mouthful.
Thank you all for coming out. Any other thoughts?
Dale, Scott, appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. But you do need to visit their shop on Tuscan Boulevard. It's be well worth your while.
Worth the trip. Absolutely. Come out and join us and have a good time.
Now I want to see some of your guys' toys. I like the little cars, I just can't get them. My mom didn't make any little ones.
How many cars does Danny actually have?
110. 110 cars.
Is that include motorcycles or just
Yeah,
cars?
it's full. It's full.
A big.
You know, one of the cars costs $7,000 to tune up. Anytime he doesn't drive it for 90 days, we spend $7,000 to tune it up. I don't know if this guys happens. You guys like, because you guys spend driving your cars. When you're storing such a large fleet, and where's Mr. Bewley, because he knows this better than anybody. Without the lubricant, keeping the rubber from splitting, you'll start splitting all the time. His Corvette, unfortunately, we had a lot of publicity things go. He didn't drill it in a minute. He went out and hit it hard, blew the seals right out of the rear end.
Really?
So one of the bad things about having a little bit of a fleet of cars, and if you guys are keeping 5 or 6, 7, 8 cars, remember this: you got to move them. You got to move them because it's not so much as just the battery or the gas. It's actually all the seals in the car, and you'll lose a lot of money changing seals.
How long does that take? I mean, for it to sit.
You know, what is it,
go
about 10
fast.
miles? Maybe 10, 12
Yeah,
miles?
well, I mean, rule of thumb.
Oh, you mean sit before they
Yeah,
start having,
every
you don't
3 or
know.
4
I mean,
months, yeah.
you don't want to really go 30 days without driving anything.
Right,
You know, and
at least every 90 days, get it out, run it through a full heat cycle, drive it far enough to get it completely hot, completely cool. But cars should be started every 30 days anyway, at least, so.
and remember, not just started. That's
Moved.
You got to actually
Yeah, I know,
move
you gotta
them.
go through
You know, that's the mistake people make is I go out and start the car, but that doesn't lubricate the rear end.
Right.
So that doesn't keep you from getting flat spots in the tires. So it's one of those ones where it definitely is a maintenance thing for yourself, you know, financially. You'll solve a lot of drama. And the other one is rebuilding the carburetor. We actually rebuild a ton of carburetors for a lot of wonderful people in town. They just take it off and bring it to us. Just for the simple fact is, you know, all the rubber goes bad after it just sits so long. And don't forget that fuel stabilizer is your friend. We live in a wonderful community where humidity is unreal, and you'd save yourself a ton of issues by just throwing a little bit in there when the humidity's real bad. Just because there's no way the water will clump together and the fuel will clump together. Next thing you know, it clumps together in your fuel filter. You're like, what happened? Well, what's that, 4% ethanol? Well, you're gonna make popcorn when you ride anyways. But you know, those little couple things, and we learned that just because we work on a lot of cars. Here we do a lot of service. About 80% of our business is service right now. When everything goes well and we just opened the new facility, we'll probably end up about 60% hot rod, 40% service. Yeah, Dale's been fortunate to learn the service business from Mr. Bewley. So we always want to be service because that makes you part of the community. But in the big picture, we'd like to build a little bit more cars and bring some recognition to our community and maybe bring a little bit of that money back here. You know, some of the hardest things people always forget in the small community is you guys do each other first before you take care of yourself. In the big city's completely the opposite. You worry about you first, and then most people don't know their neighbors. One of the neat things out here is you guys will worry if somebody doesn't come out of their house for a day or two. You guys will say something. If they break down the side of the road, you'll actually give them gas. Somebody pulls over in Vegas to see if I'm okay, they're about to rob me. They know I can't get away. You know, it's a different thing. So one of the things we're hoping to do is bring a little bit of that money back to the community that hasn't always had the benefit without all the industry here. You know, what do they say the first thing to go is unfortunately the manufacturing companies, they all go overseas. Well, you know, you open a business up and you see if you can bring a little of that back to here. Plus give you a chance to hire some more people and have a little bit of fun. And most people would never realize this car museum was here. When I was out last trip, I was actually going to the Coca-Cola 600. It's my first chance here. This is a better collection I've seen in a lot of places in Las Vegas. But who would ever believe in this beautiful little small town, there's a beautiful car collection of some cars you would never normally see? Nobody, you know? And that's some cool stuff when people start finding out that, you know, there's a lot of wonderful people in these communities. And I think that's what I like about the car club is you guys drove out here today. In Vegas, you know, we're gonna go to a casino. We're not really gonna get out somewhere fun. We might go on a drive, but you're really just seeing dirt everywhere. You know, and a lot of people honking at you for not going fast enough. Somebody wants to get to that next Royal, so they gotta drive real fast. And that's, unless you got something for me, I'm happy to say hello, but
Do you have a website?
we have not put our website up just yet, just because we wanted to take care of the move first. We didn't want to build it around the old shop. So hopefully then we're about within 60 days of it. One of the things about websites is technology, and somebody's learning technology. Somebody's coming out of the Stone Ages a little bit. I just showed him how to multi-calendar. Watch out, watch out. He's going to be in trouble here in a minute. But we do a Facebook really well, and if you haven't seen our Facebook, if you like us on Facebook, we put a lot of photos up because we do a lot of, this is where we're at, this is what we're doing to it. So you can kind of run a little bit with us on that. And he takes a lot of pride that he gets to do it himself. You know, like anything else, you want to hear people's feedback, so you're making cars that people want to buy. And most of the cars we buy to flip. So, you know, right now we're doing a beautiful Jeep right now. He's got some crazy idea for it. But when you live in the town of hillbillies that like to hunt, I love it. Some guy told me I want to sit in the Jeep and shoot things. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a bad night in Vegas to me.
Tell you a story about that.
I got a little scared when he said as long as he's not shooting at me. You know, somebody shot a turkey and 2 neighbors away, and I'm like, neighbor's gunfire. She goes, I know, yesterday. You know, I'm like, do they do that? And I told my sister, and she's like, they do that all the time. I said,
Summertime.
As long as they don't shoot at me, I appreciate it.
Thank y'all a whole lot for having us. We really enjoy being here.
Okay, before we get to the food, Jolene will do the blessing.
Or Eddie will.
Okay.